Advocates are concerned increasing cost of living pressures could be contributing to a spike in elder abuse in Victoria. There's been a 39% increase in calls to a helpline run by Senior Rights Victoria. The peak body tackling elder abuse in the state says the majority of calls in the first quarter of this year related to elder abuse. Chris Potaris is the CEO of Council of the Ageing Victoria and Seniors Rights Victoria, a legal centre focusing on elder abuse. He joins us now. Chris, thank you very much for joining us. What sort of abuse is being reported?
Look, Mandy, there's generally several types of abuse: physical, social, financial, psychological, sexual, just general mistreatment or neglect. But predominantly, the main area of elder abuse relates to financial and psychological abuse.
And is there a direct link with the rising cost of living?
Absolutely, yeah. Certainly the pandemic, from 2019-20 was a major contributing factor. However, the increased cost of living is predominantly the main reason. We've seen older people moved into the homes of their children to be taken care of, but instead we found that what remaining money they had was taken from them, or they were simply shut away and forced to live, eat and sleep in a single room. And conversely, it's important to note, Mandy, that adult children may have also been forced to move back in with their parents as they can't afford ongoing rental increases. This change, really, the circumstances for these children meant that they sort of felt a very unjust and unrealistic sense of financial entitlement.
So who are the main perpetrators? Is it mainly the children of these parents that are doing it, or are the people seeing opportunities as well?
Look, generally, unfortunately, it is generally the children, the adult children, who are really abusing a very marginal and vulnerable cohort of older Victorians.
So what are the options for elders who find themselves in this situation?
Look, there are many options. Seniors Rights Victoria is certainly the main community legal centre that they can contact us at any time and seek a number of sort of specialised advices or referrals or indeed representations. And there are other organisations, but it's important to note, Mandy, that it's a bit of a concerning time at the minute. There's been some significant defunding of these types of services as a result of the May 23rd budget. Now, I don't think the average Australian actually understands the significance of defunding services like this and the impact it's going to have on older Victorians.
And this is the state budget you're talking about? Or the
Correct,
federal?
Victorian state budget, I'm
right,
sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
And the Age Discrimination Commissioner, Kay Patterson, says ageism is the most under-recognised ism in Australia. Would you agree with her?
It's certainly the predominant cause that leads to elder abuse. Yes, I would.
So what can be done about this? Because often we hear that elders don't want to dob in their kids, in effect.
It's a very good point you make, and it's certainly a very precarious proposition for our advocates and social workers who work with our legal team to try and resolve some of these horrendous sort of matters that older people face. However, awareness, education is a big one. Generally, most of the time, Mandy, you'll find that most older people who are subject to this scourge don't even know what elder abuse is, or in fact that they're suffering it. So education, awareness, and certainly community raising is a really important point to raise the profile of elder abuse and to diminish or remove it.
And I guess it would be safe to say, Chris, that you've had an increase in calls, but they're people that are aware, so there must be so many more that aren't aware.
That's a really good point, and I think the in terms of Victoria in particular, and there is, before I give you the stats for Victoria, it's important to note that there is a distinct lack of data at a national level, but from a Victorian level, we've seen, you mentioned 39%, 40% increase in calls. That we're talking about there probably, almost 400 people who have been abused since the same time in this period last year. So these are 400 people who are suffering significant harm. So it really is a matter that needs to be brought to the fore, not only at a state level, but nationally.
So what's your advice, Chris, for people that find themselves in these situations?
Look, the first thing is to reach out and reach out for that help and support. But more importantly, your point you made earlier, Mandy, in relation to people, older people who are suffering this, not wanting to, sort of dob in their son or daughter. It's just as important for other people who engage with these older people who are potentially suffering this abuse to reach out on their behalf. So we're talking about, it could be a neighbour, could be a mate, could be a professional, it could be your nan or your pop. Reach out to these people or reach out to us as a service to help intervene. It's very, very important.
Well, we always give helpline numbers here, Chris, so do you want to give us your number?
Absolutely. Please, for your callers, if you think you are suffering it or you know someone who may be suffering elder abuse, 1300 368 821.
All right, Chris, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mandy.
Chris Potaris there, the CEO of Council on the Ageing Victoria and Seniors' Rights Victoria. That number again, 1300 368 821.